Okay, thank you for your attendance this evening. Chapter 295 of the City of Reading's Codified Ordinances requires that the HARB be guided by the United States Secretary of the Interior's standards for rehabilitation and guidelines for rehabilitating historic buildings. Chapter 180, construction codes and by any policies and/or guidelines hereafter adopted by the board or the City of Reading. While meetings of the HARB are generally informal, Robert's Rules of Order are used to structure the proceedings and maintain decorum. The audio portion of these proceedings will be recorded for record-keeping purposes. When the applicant hears the name of his or her property called by the chair, they should wait for the preservation officer to present the property summary application proposal. The chair will recognize the applicant when the time is appropriate for him or her to present any supporting information to the board. Applicants are asked to limit their presentation to 3 minutes. Okay. Is there any minutes? Is there any conflicts of interest for tonight's agenda? Okay, we'll start with the first property, and that is 30 North 5th Street.
Sorry, I had a compliment.
Okay.
So 30 North 5th Street, often.
Wait. Just come up and sit up there first. Amy's gonna do her portion of it, and then.
I'm hoping it's me, because sometimes 30 North 5th is mixed up with 435 Court, which is what we use for our address.
Yes, I have on here AKA 435 Court.
Got it.
In our files, we call it 30 North 5th Street.
That's very interesting, because there's only one other organization that recognizes this as being on 5th Street.
Oh, really? What may I ask what
I
that?
think it's UGI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everyone else recognizes this as 4th Street.
On our historic district map, probably because the front entrance was originally entered out onto North 5th Street.
Yeah.
It's just always been called that.
Great.
Okay. So this is, 30 North 5th Street, and it's Christ Episcopal Church, built in 1826, is one of the oldest Gothic revival churches in Reading. The massive red sandstone facade and 200-foot spire, designed by Edward T. Potter of New York, was added between 1861 and 1867. The building was transformed again in the early 20th century with a Romanesque revival style brick structure on the southern facade, and in 1957, a 2-story parish house addition was constructed to the west of the main church structure for administrative, classroom, and social functions. In 2003, a new entrance addition was constructed to connect the church to the parish house at the 1st and 2nd floor levels via a new passenger elevator and open stairs. The church received a site quality rating of 130 and is an outstanding contributing site in the Callow Hill Historic District. And tonight we are reviewing the proposal for the installation of a sculpture entitled Mater D or Die. Within the courtyard at the southern facade of the building. And the Secretary of the Interior standards that apply to this project are number 2. The historic character of a property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of historic materials or alteration of features and spaces that characterize a property shall be avoided. You may explain your project, and they've all been given photographs of
Okay, great. So
the sculpture.
So what happened was, there was a Lutheran church in the Shillington area that is no longer a Lutheran church, and the Episcopal, the Pentecostal church that went in there did not want this statue on their property any longer. So one of our congregants was contacted, and we said, hey, we think we got a really nice place to put this statue right here near our opening. So we wanted to do that, wanted to make sure that we were doing everything by the book, if you would. And that's why we put in the application. So it's a Mother Mary statue, it's approximately 8 foot tall total. As you can see from the picture, 6 foot of statue, 2 foot of footing. It's in a nice area in our garden that fit right up against a brick wall, actually enhance the property in normal.
Did you acquire this statue already? You have-
No, we're waiting for this.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
still in its.
Yeah, and the actual owner, believe it or not, was in Thailand. And we said, "Look, we really would like to arrange for pulling this off and bringing it over, but we want to make sure everything is good." And so we waited for them. And they said, "Yep, we'll wait for you," and now we're waiting for this board to approve.
No, I haven't on my phone. I'm seeing
The area where you're looking to put the statues, is there something there before that?
They're just plantings, like some
Okay.
other plantings.
I can see that base that's in the center of the thing.
That was added in preparation for this.
Okay, okay.
I think over at the church in Shillington, when the gentleman I replaced as a property manager, Cliff Buckle, when he went over and took a look, he saw that because there wasn't a proper foundation laid in, stone laid in, it already sank about 6 inches over the 20, 30 years, whatever it was there. So he wanted to avoid that. So he prepared that stone area with some drainage for that spot.
Okay.
Can you sign our sign-in sheet too?
I did.
Oh, you did, I'm sorry, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the application for 435 Court Street for the installation of statue as proposed.
I'll second that. Sorry, Mike.
Okay.
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Mr. Polachek.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.
Amy will be sending you something, Ms. Johnson will be sending you something in the mail to let you know that everything's.
What the exact decision is for, but you can proceed, I
Oh,
think.
that's my next question. So we can proceed and actually acquire it now. right?
Yes, I don't think you need any other permissions from like a building permit or anything like that, you should be okay.
No, what we checked in the records, we shouldn't,
Okay,
yeah, but if there's anything else we need, no, let us know.
okay, certainly will,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you. Next, item 1044 Washington Street.
Yeah, we'll do it, we'll do it.
This 3-story. I'm sorry, you okay? I turned it off. Oh, okay.
No,
I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go old school.
I can't understand that. No problem.
Okay, just let me know if I'm going too fast.
Okay, yes,
No, it's okay.
This 3-story semi-detached residential building was built in the Second Empire style and received a site quality rating of 26, deeming it a non-contributing building in the Penns Common Historic District. The historic integrity of the structure has been severely compromised with the application of a permastone brick veneer on the exterior, the installation of aluminum siding at the mansard roof, the installation of aluminum capping on all wood surfaces and roof cornices, the replacement of windows, and the replacement of the original first floor front windows with a modern bay window. And tonight we are reviewing the request for the replacement of the existing brick veneer or permastone at the front facade with Glengarry brick veneer in the color Bay Hill. Replacement of the existing aluminum awnings with aluminum awnings at the first and second floor front facade. Replacement of the original wood and full glass first floor front entrance door with a fiberglass and half glass entrance door. And the Secretary of Interior standards that apply to this project are number 2, of which I read earlier. Number 5, distinctive features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize a historic property shall be preserved. And number 6, deteriorated historic features shall be repaired rather than replaced. Where the severity of deterioration requires replacement of a distinctive feature, the new feature shall match the old in design, color, texture, and other visual qualities, and where possible, materials. Replacement of missing features shall be substantiated by documentary, physical, or pictorial evidence. Now you may explain, if you want to start from beginning what you've explained to me and how this all transpired.
I asked him to keep also that I can interpret everything that he says.
Sí, yo hice todas las reparaciones de acuerdo a las normas.
I did all the repairs according to the norms.
Cuando llegué al área de afuera, necesariamente había que reparar.
When I got to the outside, obligatory, I had to do it, it had to be repaired.
Cuando empecé a tratar de repararla, me di cuenta que no había manera de repararla que no fuera quitándola y poniéndola para atrás otra vez.
When I examined it, I realized that it couldn't be repaired, that it needed to be removed and replaced.
Ahí fue que empecé con el procedimiento para tratar de empañetar las paredes y luego entonces volverlas a su estado natural de nuevo.
And that's when we started the process to try and to cover them and then to try to restore them to the way they were.
En ese procedimiento fue que la ciudad me paró el trabajo y me explicaron que estábamos en una área histórica que yo desconocía, no sabía.
That's when we began that process. That's when the city stopped us and they told us that I was in a historical area which I was not aware of and that I needed to stop the work.
Esa es la única alteración que hice en la propiedad. La señora M testigo que estuvo allá y vio todo, que no se alteró por todas las demás dimensiones, todo está intacto.
And that was the only alteration that we did, and Amy has had the opportunity to look at it, and everything else we did according to what was.
Y lo que quisiera es que yo le traje una muestra de los materiales que necesito. Aquí está el señor que está encargado de hacer el trabajo. Que me digan cómo es que quieren que lo haga, que yo estoy en la mejor disposición de seguir las normas que ustedes me digan, pero que me dejen seguir el trabajo.
Okay. What I'm here for is I brought you some samples of what I have available to me that I can use. The gentleman that's going to do the work is present. So what I want from you is to tell me exactly what it needs to be done so that I can do it according to what you want me to do.
Just so I can show the board,
Para que le pueda mostrar a la junta.
this is the original material that's on the exterior of the property now. Well, it's been removed from the front, but it's on the other facades. And this is what he is proposing,
Y eso es lo que le está proponiendo.
that he could find
Sí, él puede encontrar
the closest
más cercano,
color
el color,
in Glengarry to what was existing.
lo que existe.
So I think the board noticed in the pictures that the east side of the property has that original, well, not original, but permastone on it. That is gonna remain on there. Then this will be on the north side, the front facade. As you can see, the notes from the executive meeting that we had, there was a few questions there. And I'm going to ask some of those questions.
Yo voy a hacer unas cuantas preguntas.
So I noticed that on the east side of the building where that permastone is gonna stay, how will those corners meet for the front and the side?
Para eso está en el sample de la pieza de la esquina.
That's what the sample piece of
Exacto,
total
eso
is.
es.
Oh, okay, I just- That's okay.
Exacto.
So
So-
they make a,
But if the permastones on here, can I have that? If this is the permastone side, how does this? Cause it comes right up to the edge.
how are you gonna create a joint?
No, porque esa porción de la parte que estaba la va a completar esa.
So that portion of the piece that's originally there, if that's gonna complete it.
Exacto. Let's say, vamos a decir, en la esquina. Cuando yo quité esa pieza, quedó ese espacio en blanco.
When I
Ahora,
removed that piece, there was a blank space.
ahora esa pequeña esquina,
So
ese
that
ángulo de
corner
90,
is not.
va a reemplazar ese espacio ahí.
So
No,
how,
no, the other side, right there. Right there. No, can I approach the two?
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
The way was, that was the wall, that was the corner right there. That one will be, when I took it one, that one could be right here, make it a corner. If I need to cut it, I cut it and then go to
so you're
the other
gonna
one.
put this old stuff on the east side.
Lo va a cortar
About
en
that
el lado
far.
este, como ese espacio.
Es más o menos lo mismo que está ahí.
About that same amount.
The same.
Just from the pictures I saw, it looks like it butts right up against.
De la segunda que yo vi,
It's
como que se ve como que está ahí
Pueden
pegado.
ver la foto que había este espacio y esto va, todos los espacios que hay en menos que este. Este
There's
se puede
space
cortar.
there and it's less than this.
A little.
Ajá.
Okay. But. Right
Oh,
there.
so she's showing. You're gonna have to
Es,
cut.
ajá, exactamente. Esta foto, ese pequeño espacio que está ahí es la que va a ser la esquina con esta.
He has a picture that he wants to show you.
See, and this gap in there, that's when I'm gonna make it a corner over here. Right there.
It should be like this, as it was before.
Mhm.
Or the session,
No.
has those,
Yeah,
it's gonna be the same.
Mhm.
If not, it's gonna be, I mean, if we need, when we install this, we're just gonna put the piece out, the part like
Exactly.
as we need.
I'm talking
And
about this.
that session in
Yeah.
there is also,
That's what I was.
it's gonna be the same way, and we need to put it, because was disconnected, this piece. And this one over
This-
here was separated, was not connected.
Okay.
This one go straight up.
But you're gonna, oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to cut that, right? 'Cause it's right up to
Yeah.
the-
Mhm. Ajá, hasta arriba y se subsidió.
Then we're gonna have to do, as we have just up to here. Then we just gonna try to cut it all the way up to make it with this.
Okay. And then what do you put something in there so water doesn't get in there? Like where this meets up with that?
Pues they're gonna.
Hay algo que van a hacer para hacerlo impermeable.
Cement.
Yeah, it's gonna be, it's cement, it's gonna be cement.
Cement,
With the mortar.
Yeah.
or mortar.
Es como que si usted quitara esta pieza y la cambiara por esta.
It's like taking off this piece and changing it for this one.
I understand, but it's two different products
Como son dos
Coming
productos
together.
diferentes que se
and I just need to know
Well,
what
this,
exactly is.
this is.
Va a quedar como esta terminación en cemento.
This is like also cement.
Esto es cemento también.
No pueden hablar a la vez.
That's also cement, you know, as soon as you just put it together, seal it with the cement,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be.
You were
Thank
gonna
you.
explain to them how you wanted to stucco.
Oh, ok.
up-
Que usted quería empañetar,
Sí, si se pudiera, yo quería ver si me dejan completar el empañete para que esté uniforme. Entonces hago el trabajo completo, todo, la pared, para no dejarlo así, porque para darle más seguridad.
I wanted to complete the stucco. I don't know if I'm allowed to finish it so that it's safer or stronger.
A smooth surface to
Yeah.
adhere to.
Mhm.
Okay, for
The
my,
same way look there, I would like to complete all the wall and then put whatever material, the wire mesh, cement, and then start to putting those material there.
Well, I think that's like a, excuse me, that's more of a building and trades issue. Ours is just the facade part.
Okay, nosotros solamente nos enfocamos en la fachada. Eso tiene que ver con edificios y a las.
Okay.
but then also then we need to do the stucco because the bricks, they are like disintegrating. And then as we plaster over, the brick is gonna get more secure, more solid, the cement is gonna stick on the bricks and then plus, you know,
Porque va a estar cubierta de todas maneras.
It's gonna be covered anyway, so you want to stucco it
If we just
first.
put the,
I told Mr. Soriano to explain how he was going to prepare the bricks in order to put the bricks on. That's why it's explained. And you're right, it's building and trades that, but
the reason I would put them out was because I was completely falling.
Right.
And I was so dangerous because the material is real heavy.
Mhm.
And believe me, I was afraid and piece of that and I fallen.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get bolted on at all, or there's nothing but this concrete holding it on?
So solamente va a estar pegado al concreto, no hay nada que lo, como.
Vamos a usar la malla que se le pone para que
It's gonna
cubra el
have-
cemento y cobra
de
que es,
hierro.
es lo mismo que estaba aquí.
De hierro, una
Sí,
malla
pero
de hierro.
ese material es malla que tenía.
So it's gonna have a mesh
Yeah.
that it's gonna adhere to.
Right.
That was the material that was there before.
Even what we need, for example, also we needed to plaster over cement the whole wall.
Mhm.
Because right now the bricks, they're kind of loose.
Mhm.
And that's why I want to do the stucco to make it more solid, that way that now we can put the screw or the nail,
Mhm.
and I hope it goes to better.
Okay, so there is a screwer now.
It's gotta be a screw or nail,
Okay.
but like when we put this out, all this was no screw, was no nail, everything was good, it's good, that's why.
Like the holding on the
bolts
air.
come out.
This was like a holding on the air.
Is this piece by piece?
Eso va a ser.
Sí.
It's like a
Pieza
brick,
by
but
pieza.
it's just
It's
put on-
single piece, each
Okay.
single piece.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Gracias.
Yeah, well,
Mr. Soriano, can you write both of your names, yours and? your-
I actually had everybody sign in on the camera.
Oh, okay. Just as long as I have everybody's
Yes,
name, that's
everybody's
all that matters, thank you.
The awning that you're proposing for on the first floor, is that going to extend across the entire front?
Va a ser en todo el frente.
apenas como 3 pulgadas de un lado y 3 pulgadas del otro extremo.
So it's 3 inches from one side and the other side.
So it goes over top of the door.
Por encima de la puerta,
Como estaba antes.
the way it was before.
Just.
So I'll look to replace the front door.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've read what the executive committee recommendation was that, the front entrance door. Excuse me, my allergies are killing me. It might be about appropriate in this style, but, and I think the HARB's approved something like that before. It should be full glass door. But,
Is the fiberglass okay?
The board has approved
Yeah.
fiberglass
Yeah.
and steel
Okay.
doors, yeah.
But a full glass,
It was a full glass and wood, like the other picture that
I saw that.
oh, okay, but the,
Now it's,
now
now it's half glass.
it's half glass, yeah.
Did the original door have a transom?
good
I'm not
question.
sure.
I think we were talking about
Yeah.
that. I think, was there a transom window above the front door? I think there was a space for it, but the window wasn't there when you purchased the home. Like where the house number would be above the door,
Sí, sí, sí,
Yes.
sí, estaba.
it was there.
There was a piece of glass.
No,
Si mal, ahora no está, pero si mal no recuerdo estaba, pero que todo estaba podrido por el agua que había, la madera se había dañado todo.
If
no
I
se veía-
remember correctly, it used to be, but it's no longer there, but it was all rotted and it had to be replaced.
Was it covered over and it was inside it, or was existing there above the door?
Was it glass?
Yeah.
Creo que existía encima de la puerta.
It did exist on top of the door, I believe.
So how is it being proposed to replace that transom?
I don't think we knew that it was there in the beginning.
No.
We were told, I think we were
Lo
told
que yo
that
digo,
it
creer
there
que
was a
estaba ahí
space
porque
there, but.
la puerta, la altura y todo no se han tocado, no se han alterado nada.
I think it was there, but because the height or anything hasn't been changed.
Page 14 of 16 shows a door. And it does have the 1042 address up above it.
Yeah, that is right next door.
Oh, that's next.
Yeah, that's next door. That's to show,
Okay, all right,
that's what the original door looks like.
okay.
And he owns that building as
Es
well.
el mío también.
So the entrance door that was removed looked like that,
Yes,
including the transom.
that I'm not sure. I don't, there wasn't a stained glass transom
No.
with the door number.
Tenía un strong door fuera, pero la puerta era de madera,
But the door was wood.
Do you have a picture of this?
como la,
Like, print it up.
como la del lado, como la 42.
Like the one on the outside of 42.
So that's a stained glass transom at 1042. So our question is, how are you proposing to replace that transom?
Y como usted tiene
Y puedo ver la foto, a ver.
If you can
porque
show me, I don't remember
realmente.
exactly.
Oh, ok, ok. Lo que no entiendo con esto es, con la altura de la puerta, si queda muy bajita o cómo sería. Pues yo si hay que reemplazarlo, lo podemos reemplazar, no hay problema.
What I don't know is if the size of the door, if it'll fit, but if we need to replace it, I can replace it.
Where is that window
¿Dónde está esa
for
ventana?
1044?
Porque es 44.
Ay, yo creo que eso no está allá, ¿no?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Eso es
Was
lo que
that
estamos
window
tratando de
there?
averiguar si esa ventana estaba ahí originalmente.
Sí, pero si estaba, no está, porque al quitarse la puerta, eso se fue.
If it was, it's no longer there because when the door was removed.
Yo
it
tendría
was
que
taken.
ordenar una entonces.
Then I would have to order it.
Found somebody who makes these.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and always.
That a new stained glass shop on Franklin Street.
Yes, she comes in the artifacts thing. Yes. Yeah.
No.
According to the standards, the replacement door is going to match size, scale, and historical features, and it should be a 3/4 like style and rail door with a transom, and whether it's fiberglass or steel or wood or composite, that remains to be seen, but we need to see the product information first.
I think one thing that, I don't disagree. One of the things that the executive committee was taking into consideration, correct me if I'm wrong, Nigel, was the low composite index rating of the house too. But I always agree that original door should be kept if possible.
Well, and in the same size, which would include having a transom. Don't know how you recreate the moldings of that style door, the one we see at 1042. If it's done using fiberglass or steel. I'm not aware of a product that does that.
Somebody else have questions or statements?
My question is, can you obtain a new door that has a transom within the door unit, or is it two different components?
It's because
I'm
when the
not
door
familiar.
opens, the transom window stays there.
I know that, I mean,
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
You can buy a pre-hung door with a transom, but typically, like these were all custom installed.
mhm.
And
So whether you get the
typically
right
they-
size.
Yeah, custom.
Si me ayudan a encontrar un lugar donde la pueda ordenar, no tengo ningún inconveniente.
If you can help me find a place where I can order it from, I have no problem.
But there needs to be cost though, because something happening here. Naturally. See, this section here, all the brick was now falling apart,
Mhm.
and then
Each plate.
I didn't see nothing to hold.
Mhm.
Is the bricks on top of the door.
Right.
I used to work in New York and I used to do this. And I bought a 2x2 angle bar. And I put it right on top of the door,
Mhm.
just to hold all the bricks that was coming down.
Okay,
the top of the
understood.
door. Now, I believe this space is probably short than a regular, like for the regular mirror that goes in there, it's gonna be smaller, it's gotta be smaller. But now I got this piece, also right on top of the window, the top window, I put it in a piece.
I understand.
I don't know if it is gonna be any convenient, because I took, if we find a door that I got.
What's
physical size,
what's the dimension of that door?
that's 80, that's a normal.
It is a normal 80.
80.
80.
That's
Standard door.
that's what your standard door height is, 80.
Mm.
Yeah.
And some of the door and I've seen in a design 92 on some session in the city. They 92, but the main engine, but the inside door like that's when you got a little hallway, those are 90, 90, 96, 92, 96, whatever. But in this case, I'm gonna have that issue because the piece of metal that I put up.
Yeah, and it is an issue.
And there's another, we can find some place another get cost out.
So, to make sure that I understand what he's saying that he put up a metal to hold up the brick. That's falling apart, and that could be a problem if finding a door like that, is what you're saying.
That is,
Que no lo tenían antes. No tenían los locales.
But you can see here,
Mhm.
you can see the line of it.
yeah, that's a middle piece and it's
Yeah.
very strong. It has more than like about 5'8" thick. And like four, like a 4x4, a 4-inch wide.
Cualquier cosa, entonces también podemos abrir más hacia arriba para que
So,
quede el tránsito.
if you're nice, the pictures.
But if we need to open up
Back
that-
window.
The top to put the transom. then
We
we
can
can do
open
that
a
as
little bit
well.
more on the top and then put the transom feet in there.
But then you can, what, in the window? In the
No,
door?
encima de la puerta.
Encima de la puerta, you can do nothing in there no more.
No, habría que quitar el metal de nuevo.
Yeah, the
para
metal
abrir.
would have to be
I
removed.
didn't recommend it, because that's the structure.
How do you recommend closing that space?
I will say, and I will do the same thing we're gonna do at the corners. As it goes in at the window, and in me at the door, it got the corner. I just can close that and then frame it over.
So it's gonna be it's like a molding or something like that.
No, it's gonna be,
Baseboard.
no, it's gonna be just with the same material.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be same
So
material.
you bring this stucco.
I bring the sucker down, insulate it, and bring the sucker down, and then go around with the
Okay.
corner.
All right, that's what you're proposed to do.
Lintel can be moved up, or that brick that's above it was infill. So it used to be the transom. You'd have to shore the brick veneer. Remove the steel, remove the brick above it, and then build up the bearing condition on each side so that you can reinsert a lintel.
Wow, didn't realize it was storage just for some. But just for further clarification, the transom window over the door, it was just plain glass, right? There was no stained glass number in it?
Yeah, había un vitral ahí. La ventana no era vitral, era solamente vidrio,
Vidrio, sí, solamente.
just glass.
Just glass, okay, thank you.
Ya la tenía.
And you're gonna put an awning across the front,
Here's the one.
Sí. Correcto.
which means you won't even,
See it anyway.
Yeah.
physically, you won't see it anyway.
The picture that I gave you showing what it looked like before, I had taken one just by happenstance when I was out there, but the other Google Earth, or no, maybe I didn't give you. On Google Earth, it shows the same thing, you cannot see the top of the door.
That was installed before.
Okay, that's what you're.
Before the phase.
Now
Before
the
the
awning
phase,
is-
yeah,
Okay.
before the, what we took out,
Mhm,
they put this piece,
mhm.
and now I don't know how it's gonna be, because after we cut everything out, then I will put the middle piece out.
Well, that, like I say, we're just here to discuss what you're gonna put on the wall and what the windows are gonna be like. Not the windows, the awnings and the door. That's basically what we're here. The how-to part, that's they're gonna have to probably pick up the trades.
I'm sorry, the way, like the way it's constructed? Yeah, he has to get they have to get a building permit.
Right.
Yeah.
Para lo de la puerta.
For the door,
Well, everything, for
Oh,
the
but-
veneer, for, yes, for the door, for the awning.
Mañana mismo.
tomorrow.
And he did submit, I gave you pictures, but the awning, instead of having it's vertical now, it'll be horizontal. So it's still, they're aluminum now, or they were aluminum, it'll still be aluminum.
Right, let me break this down. Does anybody really object to the brick that's going to be put on the front? No. Okay. Does anybody object to the awnings?
No.
Okay, the awnings. Does anybody object to the style of the door? When I say the style of the door, instead of having there's a half glass door that they have in there now. Is that what they want to remain, or are we saying that it should be, is that style okay?
I think we've approved things like this before. The
Yeah,
HARB
yes.
has, yes.
My recommendation would be to return it to
The full,
what was there,
yeah.
a 3/4 leg with a transom. And match the original profiles from the.
but was
And the executive committee, and
that there when you?
totally support that. We were just looking at the ratings being 26 and that awning going up over top of all of that. You don't see much anyway, but it's that awning to me is almost, I didn't agree, I didn't want it back on there during our executive. But it was already there. To me, that's like a. How do I explain it?
And I mean, there are.
It's an addition
It's
that,
it's not like they don't exist in town. The house next door has an awning.
right. And here's the thing, the awning that's gonna be on there, I'm assuming it's gonna be there for a long time. It's permanently gonna be attached to the building. Who's to say in 10 years, somebody doesn't go and take it off? And then you have that exposed, but then again, look at the front window. Yeah, it's.
Como yo poseo la
Yeah.
propiedad del lado, yo pienso cuando la repare, machar el awning también, que sea igual que ese de ahí.
Because I own the property next door, I plan on having them match so that the awnings are.
Cuando haga la reparación.
When I'm finished with repairs.
You're selling them,
That's why I'm there.
yeah. So I mean, in 10 years, 5 years, whoever buys it can take the awnings off. That's my point.
Para mí, si ustedes quieren, yo no pongo el awning. Yo lo quiero poner porque así estaba, pero si ustedes quieren, yo lo dejo fuera.
If it's up to, I don't have a problem with leaving the awning off. I mean, I was gonna put it
Depende
there
de
because
ustedes.
it was already there, but it's up to you if you want it back on.
You don't have to put it back
Then
on.
You're not, you're not.
No, de hecho, ustedes me dicen,
You let me know.
yo no tendría problema. Yo
I don't have a problem.
como quiera igual.
I just wanted it to be the same as.
Ya, pero si ustedes aceptan que no esté, pues yo No tengo problema en
And
dejarlo
if you
fuera.
keep the awning off, then it opens the
Yeah,
question of the
exactly.
door.
Doors.
Okay.
Or
Let's put that on here, okay?
if you don't put the awnings on, you could put that money into the door.
Exactly. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Got a point there.
Okay.
Positions.
Then make a motion for that though. I don't know. No, the house next door is so different, that whole row is, everything's different on that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the application of the for veneer that's been presented to us. I also move to approve the installation of the awnings above the porch and above the windows on the second floor. And I also move to accept the door that is in there right now, and that it be properly enclosed at the top.
Say that again, the last part about the transom.
I make a motion to approve the door as it is right now, but that it be properly enclosed where that transom was at one time, that it be enclosed.
So no chance.
And no transom, and they can bring the brick application down further.
Someone want to second that?
About this. Reason why I'm saying I'm thinking about this is this prior comment was about having the house next door, making it both the identical same, so that house does have stained glass on it, it does have the transom. And I'm in the middle. So, stuck in the middle here. I would amend it that if the awning was not put on, that he put the money saved from the awning expense into recreating the door to resemble 1042. Or is it 1042?
Yeah,
1042, yeah. I would add that verbiage to it.
What'd you say, to recreate?
The doorway of 1042.
What about the door style? That's what.
Recreate the door.
Yeah.
Of
So
1042.
That would be going to what, 3/4, as you said, 3/4.
And just to make sure I understand, it's just if he decides not to put the on it, si ustedes se dejan poner el todo.
That's what the proposal is.
Esa es la propuesta.
Yo hago lo que
Yeah,
ustedes me
'cause
digan.
I'm gonna do whatever you tell me to do.
Yo-
he was 50-50 with it, so that's, if he's not gonna put the awning up at all, now all of a sudden. And the way I'm looking at it is now all of a sudden you're gonna have one building look like one thing, the other one look the other. If you're gonna try and make them as uniform as possible. Then if you're taking the awning down, and I support taking the awning down myself personally, I would wanna put that back up. Now all of a sudden, I have one door looking one way and the other door looking another way, so. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Está 50-50, porque,
Yo lo quiero hacer mejor. Vamos a poner el awning y vamos a restaurar la puerta.
So let's do one better. I'm gonna put up the awning and I'm gonna repair the door.
Pues put el transom, para poner el transom en la puerta.
Like 10.
Yeah, but just- He's
I didn't know we were playing poker here.
sweating.
It's doable though.
Se puede hacer.
He's gonna move that.
It's a lot of work.
He's got-
Deal. Yes.
All right.
No, vamos, buscamos la manera de, okay, podría ser un poquito más pequeño
Can the transom be
transom?
smaller?
Not, a transom's a transom. I mean, they're,
Like I said, they have to be customized. Because another piece, that metal piece is too heavy and it's supporting so much weight. That believe me, I quit. If I have to remove it, I quit. I don't do the job.
Wow.
Could you please explain what you said earlier about the piece that's going across the metal piece? What is that piece
It's
called?
called a lintel.
Yes, you said something to the fact that it can be moved.
Mhm.
Can you?
So what, it wasn't at that location originally,
Right,
and where it was installed is lower than where the original lintel was. So to remove it, you would have to brace the masonry above. Take it out, take out the courses that were added. And recreate the bearing condition on each side so that it can be installed at a higher elevation.
Ya entiendo.
um. I don't know if that's something that's gonna actually be able to be, I mean, it can be done. It's just,
That he's, he'll quit.
yeah, yeah. So I just want the board to like. Mr. McDevitt made his motion, that the rating of the property and the awning being there.
Reason of the metal is supporting the weight from the top of the door all the way to the roof. That is what's supporting that piece of metal. If we take that out, I don't guarantee, none of my job I guarantee, because this building are so too old. And if you take that support, any little movement and in this city is gonna.
Was that there?
No, was nothing in there.
It's up
No,
high.
How would that
You
issue
you did not install that?
Huh?
You didn't install that?
He
I installed
the
that.
You
lintel.
installed.
But
it.
before the one was not, that was the reason it was falling apart.
No,
You don't have
none of
to
the,
support.
none of the window has it.
I just-
It
And
had
I
to
just
fit
put
on
up on
high.
on the door and open on all the windows.
I just wanted to understand, that's all.
Yeah, but before it doesn't happen.
Well, a motion was made. Some addition was added to it. I need someone to second that motion or start over.
Mr. McDevitt would have to amend his original motion and then have a second.
Right, well, I will amend my original motion. Original motion by, as you said, if the awning is not put up, then the front door at,
Needs to
this is
replicate.
1044,
Yes,
that the front door of 1044 would have to be
replicate,
replicated similar to 1042,
correct.
as far as the style of the door and the transom.
Can I get a second on that?
I'll second.
Mr. Booth,
No.
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes.
Mr. Polotica.
Yes.
Finalmente, para entender cómo fue que se aprobó, para saber qué voy a hacer.
So just tell me once again, so that I know what was approved.
Did you do that? I didn't want to do that.
Okay,
I can
great.
do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the permastone is allowed,
Okay.
the awning is allowed. The front door is fine. The transom window, you do not have to put back unless you do not put that awning back. Then you're going to be required to replicate the door next
Okay.
door and the transom window at the top.
Ok, perfecto.
Perfect.
Okay.
¿Eso se puede comenzar el trabajo inmediatamente o
We
qué,
start
qué tengo que
work
hacer?
immediately.
Obvio, después que saque el permiso, ¿verdad?
I think you need to you're required to get some permits.
You need to get, yes, you need to apply for the building permit. But then, yes, once you get the building permit,
Ok,
they'll alert me, I'll be able to sign off on it, and then you'll be able to begin work.
ok. El primer paso es buscar los materiales. and ya.
Building first step is securing the materials and everything.
Yeah, we're together, yeah.
Yeah, building and trades on the third floor. I think,
Tomorrow, see, I know.
Okay.
They want to put like, they bring a picture. of it.
yeah, yes.
I know that. All right. But I promise you will see, you will like it. You see
Okay.
the way I work.
Yes.
You see, you can see the picture how it was before, how I leave my heart in the house.
I saw the
I
inside.
really appreciate that you say thank you. And I say I'm sorry because I don't know that was historical district.
Well, now you know for the next one.
No, I don't really keep on that trans- Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I think almost all the cities in the historic district. Almost, you have to check.
I don't know what's so complicated. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't really bad shape. I don't want to sell it like that. I don't want they say something to me later. So I say, I take a chance, even I spend a couple of $1,000 more, I say, but I want to be nice and secure. That's my goal.
Understood.
And he did do a beautiful job on the
Yes.
interior.
If you allow me work on the city, I build up the city. Really nice. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful day.
You
Have a
too.
good day.
That's my cue.
Yes, thank you.
517 Ole Street. If you could sign in there. Oh, you did, okay, thanks.
Oh, did that, okay, so I wasn't here, so that's why I keep asking.
forgot.
I always want to make sure because half the time I don't, and then I have to call people, so thank you.
Mhm.
So this is for 517 Ole Street, and tonight we are reviewing their request for the replacement of the original tongue and groove wood decking at the first floor front porch with composite decking in the color brown. And I forgot to add on there that the work is in violation and it has been completed. And the let me just read the architectural description. Built in 1890 by Adam Grossman, this 3-story semi-detached home received a site quality rating of 100 and is a significant contributing site in the Center Park Historic District. Built in the Queen Anne style, the structure has been compromised with the replacement of the original wood balustrade and columns with a wrought iron railing and columns at the first floor front porch, and the installation of aluminum capping at the second floor roof cornice. However, the structure features a random quartz stone front facade with stone coins at the eastern edge that wrap around to a painted brick facade. The original first floor front porch roof cornice and pattern detailing in the porch roof gable. Original wood windows, arched leaded glass transom windows above the first floor front picture window, an original entrance door, and a bay window at the second floor front facade with decorative wood detailing and stained glass transom windows. And the Secretary of the Interior standards that apply to this project are numbers 2, 5, and 6, of which I read earlier. And if you just want to explain your project or the condition of the porch and what you did.
I get this property like 5 to 6 years ago. I was totally destroyed. You can see the pictures. Of course, you have it. And I've been repairing that step by step. Now, I didn't know that only in that, I mean, so deep was part of the,
Sure.
yeah, from started. So I've been working since my budget is really tight, step by step. Now, the floor of the front porch was horribly a hazard. Anytime that someone who was walking by, there was something wood coming off and stuff like that. What I choose to replace the floor was what we have over here in the table, which is a perfect copy of what it was. And stronger than what it was. And so far, that's what I have. Plus, I have a wall who was getting, I was saying earlier that this giving so many bad dreams because I always was thinking that was gonna fall while I am sleeping. It's a wall that was taking water from outside to inside. And it's really creepy, sleep in a place like that. So I decided to fill those spaces with cement. Before that wall was painted. And now it's because of the time and everything is being taken apart, everything, but I can paint it again like it was. Like
What we want to discuss tonight is just your porch floor decking.
the front, okay.
You and Ms. Johnson can discuss other projects.
Okay,
She'll have you fill out applications for those, but that'll be down the road a little
okay,
bit.
so what I have is, so far, that's what I have working on the floor of the porch,
Mhm.
and I would like to know what is it that you guys want me to do? Because I don't have the budget to rip out that floor.
The board would took notice of what the executive committee recommended. I guess the HARB has approved other installation of composite decking previously. I think our concern was this front edge. It's in picture. It would be this picture. So how that edge is on the front. I don't know. I was not on the HARB when something like this was there a recommendation of a piece of molding that go over top of that, or?
I can't remember an installation where that type of decking was approved. Maybe Ms. Johnson.
I didn't have time to look up, there was one on Rose Street. I distinctly remember the Rose Street, but I don't remember the special circumstances. I'm almost positive, I'm not 100%. And I think there's been instances where we've approved like stair treads to be done that way too. But it hasn't been that often.
Yeah, I do remember stair treads. And then this board under,
What is that, pressure treat?
I guess.
This was the only application that we got online.
Oh, it didn't. Here, I can.
It almost looks like there's a plywood deck under the composite deck.
Here, they can- those are all the new pictures.
Sorry.
Yeah, it does look like, yeah, you're right.
Now, the board did, or the executive committee noted the high rating of the house. And I did look into, Ms. Guzman had told me that 521 had a composite wood deck, and I did look, and that was done illegally, it was not. So I will be sending a violation letter to them, because they did not get permission to do that.
We won't, yeah.
So So what used to be there, I'm just looking at a Google Maps view, but it used to be a somewhat narrow wood fascia board, and there is looks like a window that is underneath the
Yes.
fascia.
Yeah, this is from 2019.
So apparently stone and that window have been removed under the porch.
Would this have been more of that lattice, like over here?
Yeah, this is from 2010.
But,
Gosh. Yeah.
so there was no like decorative molding, that's from 2010. See under the porch floor there, I thought maybe, I was looking at the property next door, it looked like there was some trim mold, like on top of that flat board there.
Yeah, I see those photos.
That's from 2010. Was this a window over here?
That part, when I talked to Amy, I said, I'm gonna stop everything there. I
Okay,
won't do nothing else
okay,
until you guys let me know, because
Okay.
yes, I had that part,
Oh,
I
you
can
do?
put it,
Okay.
yes,
okay,
absolutely.
good. What about the lattice? That wasn't, that's that stuff from Lowe's, I think, that's there.
Yeah.
This is more of the original,
Yeah.
it's more like a checker.
Yeah, probably more like a checkerboard, yeah,
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 which would be a custom made thing.
yeah,
What year you said this house was built?
According to the survey, it's 1890.
Ran out of stained glass, I got time to get my house, didn't put it in mine,
Oh, do you have the same?
builder, yeah.
Oh, okay.
An option.
Yeah, good then.
The bottom of the block, yes, the top of the block, no.
does that window open like this?
which one?
This little bottom one underneath, does it swing open like a door?
No, actually, they just put that, it's like make the frame, right? And just put that underneath.
So it doesn't, it's not
I have
functional.
the feeling that they have
Private
that,
hole,
they have that
Yeah.
for emergency
Oh,
occasions.
to get underneath.
Yes, the fact that they, because, yeah, the fact that they have those little teeny weeny holes too, that's what the neighbors told me, is because it prevents animals go there and hibernate.
Oh, yeah, and then you can get air and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, air.
the door probably was for cold,
Yes,
cold delivery.
Oh,
I would love to put that back, but like I said, I stopped.
Right.
Yes,
And I told her, along with the building inspector, that she could put the railings and support columns back, well, the railings because of just being a hazard because it's so high. Okay, let's see. Looks like the screen.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh,
So this would just need to be painted, right?
yes.
This really.
yes. I think, wasn't in the 400 block of Douglas Street, closer to this street, that Hollis was working on a year or so ago, where he redid the porch columns. I think that was a composite.
Yes.
Deck too.
Yeah, I forgot about that now. I'm trying to think of how that edge would have been now.
But was the entire porch floor reframed? Is there new framing underneath the deck?
I did see new boards underneath there. There's new
Yes.
boards to frame out the porch deck.
Yes, cause that would, and I took a picture of that too. That was horrible with termites and all that. Yeah, that was really, really.
So what's different about this installation from what was there previously was you would have had wood framing with the deck boards, tummy groove deck boards on top of that framing. This has pressure treated wood framing with a plywood deck. And then the composite deck was on the plywood deck. So part of the reason why it looks different is the shape profile of the deck board that you're seeing. But also you're seeing the edge of the plywood.
How does that breathe? I guess from underneath.
Well, the reason why that deck board has a groove on the bottom is so that if moisture gets in there, it has a pathway to get out. But I doubt the plywood deck is a waterproof wood material. And that's the reason why the tongue and groove, the old tongue and groove porches were so tight. You know, that was essentially a weather seal for the space below. So that was acting as the waterproofing membrane essentially. That's why a lot of people painted it. But this is not, it's a different type of construction than what would have been there previously.
I've never heard of putting the plywood down. And then putting that on top.
The person who was helping me was my dad. And he overdo stuff like to make it worse.
Stronger, yeah.
What we did, we put the plywood, he painted plywood, and on top of that, he put that material.
Mhm.
He just wanna make sure I won't go to the same thing over and over and over.
Right.
Because these boards are not tongue and groove, that means there's a joint between each one that moisture can come down in between.
Least you run slightly as the time goes on. Pretty thing.
What is underneath the porch? Is it just dirt?
There's a room down there, I'm pretty sure. Is there a room under the porch?
No, it's dirt.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Yep. It's dirt. That's outside. Nothing.
Unless there's a chute that would go from here into the, because usually that's the cold room underneath there.
Actually, what underneath, what you see all the way down there is the basement. We never touch place like the base, this is the porch, right? And this is the basement. So never.
Starts at the house.
You have a window underneath the porch though, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably what had window had hatched up, because my house has the same thing, and that's where they would have put the
The one
culvert
in the middle,
into the very
Oh,
front, in the very
yes.
front, yeah, so there was probably an avenue that they could have gotten underneath the porch, to put the chute in, so they can push the
So it
culvert.
wouldn't have gone right under there. There would have been a chute to go into the basement for
There would have been a window there, they would have opened it up, and the chute just went right through, because truck would have brought the chute.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
it does look like there's a window or a door in the.
Yeah.
Maps.
that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And she has all that, she said.
what we were thinking was cover the edges with frame,
Right.
so everything matched, just like the house that we have next to us. And we will look, I will look perfectly, I mean, oh. Like I said, we just stop and cover the hazards in case someone pass by and get hurt or whatever, then we just stop.
So if a piece of molding went over top of the front of that, that's holding in more moisture. Right?
Yeah, that would not help the situation.
We've been better off not to put the plywood down.
Yeah. So what they're saying basically in essence is this is put down and then underneath you have plywood underneath. And plywood is plies of wood put together. It's just a series of wood, thin pieces of wood molded together. And if the moisture between here, there's nothing that's gonna separate the water going in between the two slats. Okay, so moisture will get in there, and as moisture gets in there, it has nowhere to go, and it's gonna sit on that wood. The wood's gonna start separating.
Or rock the wood.
It's gonna rock the wood. That's,
We
so that
have
was
under the,
under this, yes.
yes, and under the plywood, we have 2x4s,
Mm-hmm,
reinforcing all the way.
but you're gonna have a rotted piece right in the center, is what it's gonna come out to as time goes on. Cause that's gonna be, cause that was probably one thing you shouldn't put in there.
Even painted in the
Even
middle.
paint wouldn't make a difference. It's a matter of time with that. Cause it's just plywood is basically plies of wood, small thin layers of wood that are pushed and pressed together. And as they get moist, they'll start separating. So when they start separating, then they start bulging. They start bulging. The whole thing starts going downhill. So,
Spend money again.
yep. So basically what you were looking to try and avoid, you set yourself up for it again, is what it came out to, unfortunately. So, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but. Yeah,
So basically saying that I have to take care of water.
well,
We're not saying that yet. But you're gonna have a problem. With the moisture in there.
what you were looking to accomplish, you were not gonna accomplish with.
I didn't realize there was plywood in there.
It's the reason why those historical porches had tongue and groove decking. That was why, to keep the moisture out. You know, in the past, the type of wood that they would use, there was a lot of oak around here, there was a lot of, you know, we see Douglas fir, cypress, different woods being used. But it was older growth wood at that time, so it lasted longer, it had a higher density, a higher cellular density. So unfortunately now, to buy wood decking at that density, you have to pay a little bit more. It's not the same material.
Wait,
I am very sensitive to this right now because I'm about to do the project that you're doing. I'm about to order the material and it's very expensive.
I'm glad you find out.
But you want the interlocking boards, and I'm actually planning on putting some sealant between the boards. I'm gonna first paint with a clear coat all the boards front and back, seal in between the tongues and grooves, and make sure that it's completely watertight. Because I do have space.
I can try that.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Now, on the flip side of what he's saying, 33 years ago, I had to replace the deck on my porch. And I went with tongue and groove. And 33 years later, I only had to paint that twice in that entire time. It's probably due for another paint job soon. But I only had to paint that twice and it is still standing up fine 33 years later. So, you know, just a little plug for tongue and groove wood. It's like, yeah.
It's the right material. What you want to avoid is softwoods. Because they're not going to hold up outside. You need something that has some natural decay resistance, like cedar or redwood, or you know, some of these more durable hardwoods.
I got lucky in mine, the wood was given to me. Yeah. I had to go pick it up, that was the only thing I had to do, pick it up.
That is a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, the expect never has anything.
That's how it grows like that.
But yeah, it's a 1x4 tongue and groove. That's what it's called. So the actual dimension will be about 3/4 by 3.5 with the tongue, which means it has a 3-inch base dimension. So what I would recommend is to remove the composite decking, remove the plywood. Have the code official look at your framing. I don't know if you got a building permit, but that is one of the required steps in this process. Have them verify that it is proper framing and then put the tongue and groove boards over top of that frame.
Right now, I don't have the ability to do that right now. That's gonna be.
So typically, our resolutions have a 180-day time span. You have 6 months to make any changes.
And plus, I'm afraid, I'm not sure that once we put the screw inside to this material, once you take it out and put it in again, I mean, I don't know if it's the same. I have no idea.
In the framing,
But on this,
well, I think what I would be in favor of, we haven't formulated a motion yet, but
okay,
what I would be in favor of is removing that material. And using a different material, which would be the interlocking tongue and groove decking. Something that's gonna be more watertight.
but it's,
Yes.
She
Yes, you have the ability, if, depending on what they decide, what their motion is, you have the ability to appeal their decision to city council as well, if they deny you the use of that material.
If the board has approved that material before, what would make this different than? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it takes some reach, because I honestly right now cannot remember exact instances, like I'm almost certain
I
that
remember where Hollis was.
Hollis, yeah,
Douglas down at the bottom near the dentist office.
yes. He was redoing the columns, he was doing a lot of restoration work. But I'm not absolutely certain what was,
Was it tongue and groove?
I don't know, because you can buy composite tongue and groove,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you can get it 1x4. If it's just a different material and it's the same size, I can see that potentially being improved. But yeah, I mean, it really depends on the installation. If it were an elevated deck with no space underneath and there were gaps in boards, that wouldn't be an issue either if it was in the rear of the property.
Right.
But the only other one that I can think of was a stair installation, and that on that condition, I think the treads were captured by the stringer. I can't remember exactly, but it was a very small installation.
if they could find if that is, if it's possible to use that material. If other people been using like I've been seeing in that area, that would be great for me, because I had 2 years of saving really tight to make that happen. Because it was this. I know. It looked really clean and nice. It looked like it was new. Like it's good.
No, Ms. Walker was asking, could she complete a financial hardship application?
So why not?
And then come back to us.
Mhm.
What do we table? Can we table this tonight?
And I can research. see what properties we have approved.
Okay. Then she could fill out that application and then. This is a rental thing.
And she lives there.
Right.
But there's an apartment.
Yeah.
I mean, if the applicant's interested in pursuing financial hardship, then we just need the application. Otherwise, strict adherence to the standards.
Yeah.
Say.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm just trying to figure out what would go over the front of that, but I would recommend, the recommendation would be that she took it up, took that plywood out. And. And
The best thing for the property is what you are recommending.
right, does someone want to make a motion to table? 517 Oley Street until financial hardship application can be done and brought back to us.
Do you want to explain to her what the special financial hardship?
You want to do it?
What they're kind of discussing is, we have a financial hardship application. Where it does not provide money towards a project, but it's a way to prove that replacing the decking with tongue and groove wood is more expensive than replacing it with this material. But it does require some financial information. It requires you to get 2 bids from 2 different contractors to prove the financial hardship. And I can explain this all to you. So they're considering tabling, you get the review, so you just, everything's that would be on hold until you would want to look over or could look over the application, because you really should give her a chance to look at the application and decide whether she wants to do it or not, right?
Right.
Let you read the application and see whether you want to do it or not, or pursue maintaining, keeping this, and then the board would have to review that and vote on it, and if they denied you that material, then you could appeal the decision to city council. And I can discuss all of this with you, I know it's a lot of information.
Okay.
And then it also would allow me to do some research on some of the properties that may have been approved for the composite and what the conditions are, because I do recall if it has been approved, it was tongue and groove composite decking.
One motion.
I'll make a motion that we table this until a further date and allow the property owner to pursue financial hardship.
Someone want to second that? Okay. Mr. Politica,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes,
Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that-
Mr. Booth. Ms. Johnson will be in touch with you. She'll explain the process to you, so just hold tight, okay?
And we can talk about the other items too. The only reason we're not talking about the other items I had in my email to you is because you'd only applied and we were only aware of this outstanding item, so I can talk to you about those too.
So we're gonna see each other for a long
Welcome.
First name basis,
time. Maybe I can have my pillow.
first name basis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Last but not,
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
I had to be out of Reading from the 31st.
Of June. Or,
This month.
this one. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
For
so
how
I'm
long?
gonna reach you, it's gonna be 2 weeks.
Tuesday. Okay, no, that's fine.
I'm gonna reach you in the middle of the week. or?
Yeah.
Or when I come back?
We can either talk, I will be here tomorrow and Thursday, and then we're closed for the holiday. And I'm here next Tuesday, that's the 30th, I believe, so it's whenever it's feasible for you.
What time do you be going?
If I have anything, I don't know what my can I call you? Is that okay?
course,
'Cause I don't know what my schedule is, right?
Please, anytime,
Okay,
or send me a message and I reach back to you.
okay, I can email you or call you.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Last but not least, 138 South Fifth Street.
Uh-oh. Here comes trouble. You're gonna have to come down really hard on this one.
What, excuse me, sir. What address are you here for?
I'm just here to observe. I was.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't put my table here.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing you or anything.
I live at 401 Oldie Street.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, so this is item number 4. And this 3-story detached brick residential building is located in the Callow Hill Historic District. It has a brownstone foundation, limestone detailing on the facade, and a heavily bracketed cornice. The first floor features limestone semicircular hoods with keystones over 2 large windows in the entry doors. All the windows have arched glazing and 2/2 sashes in the upper stories and 2/4 on the first floor. The 3/4 light double entry doors share a semicircular transom. Segmental limestone arches cap the second and third floor windows. The building is Italianate in style and was built in the 19th century, in the late 19th century. And the structure received a site quality survey rating of 58 in the 1979 historic site survey. However, significant restoration of the front facade was undertaken several years ago, of which also restored its historic significance. And this tonight we are reviewing the proposal for the replacement of the existing aluminum railing and support columns at the second floor rear porch with code compliant wrought iron railings and support columns and the color black to match existing. And the standards that apply to this property are standards 2, 5, and 6, as I said earlier.
Did they sign? Did you sign it?
It's basically with 87, replacing the railings and the columns on the second floor to make them code compliant. Right now, the spacing is too far apart. They're also very low. So Bachman Ironworks sent Amy a drawing. They're going to look exactly the same as the ones that are there, same design, just closer together.
And straight
And
spindles.
straight spindles. The reason I'm requesting black instead of white, the rest of the property, all the fencing, all the railings, everything is in black. So I'd like to put that black also, just to make it.
So it's essentially in kind replacement.
Just code
Measurements
compliant.
are
Just, yeah, the measurements will be.
It's just the railings on the upper porch and the lower,
The railings and columns,
the
On the
rear of
second
the property,
floor.
just the second.
just a second.
Okay.
floor.
Yeah, there doesn't appear to be anything on the first.
Well, there's a picture of black railings at a door. Now, I don't know whether that was just to
That,
provide a sample or.
yes, that
Okay.
was taken because Ms. Lasoda had said that they were originally going to match those railings. But then when Bachman's,
so
Bachman Ironworks sent the drawing,
It'll
they
match
said it'll match
exactly.
the
Yeah.
existing, yeah.
Go match the second floor.
Is that an apartment up top?
There's 4 apartments, well, it's actually 5 apartments and a business that's rated for it, but right now there's 5 apartments. Which I live in one and the problem is in the attic.
And they're just now telling you that it's not code compliant.
Well, I have no exceptions.
Yeah, I have that one there.
I have no exceptions either.
Does someone want to make a motion?
One thirty.
Yes,
I'll make a motion to approve the application for the railing and porch column replacement at 138 South Fifth Street as proposed.
Does someone want to second that?
I'll second it.
Take your thunder from you, so.
Mr. Palatika,
Yes.
I was looking at the fancy design of the rail.
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes.
Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Johnson will be in contact with you.
Did any of this make you miss being on? Please come back.
Come on, Cindy, don't you wanna come back?
Thanks, Ms. Booth.
But thank you. I think, what was it, 40 years was enough?
Yeah,
It's
yes,
probably
yes,
a record.
yes.
I
think
need
you
a change
have a lot.
over, and you're doing a wonderful job, really. With
How-
everything,
How long was your mom on, do you remember? But you were longer.
my mom was on the original.
That's right,
That
yes.
started with,
She-
with Mr.
Oh, okay, yes. But she had left before I came here. so-
Yes, she did.
Mhm. Well, we miss you.
Yes, we do.
Well, thank you. Maybe as a substitute. My dad keeps me busy right now.
Yes, yeah.
But thank you, and that's black, correct?
Oh, yeah, we should say the
Yep,
color.
just to
Yeah,
make sure.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Cindy.
you.
Have a good
Thanks.
night. Okay. Yes.
Right, this will go through, applications approved, staff.
And you were abstaining, right? Yes, obviously, sorry.
Gee, I wonder why.
And I wasn't thinking to, I sent you your approval letter today. I wasn't even thinking I could have handed it to you, but to you and your neighbor, I sent one.
I was gonna ask for your application, but I'm seeing it's already been submitted.
I have it right here.
And your neighbors.
That worked out well because if they weren't going to do it, I would have had to hire a contractor, but Steve and I are gonna try to install it ourselves.
Yourself.
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
Whenever it's a, whenever you guys are ready to make a motion.
Make the motion to approve application by staff.
Someone want to second?
I'll
that?
second it.
Mr. Booth,
Abstain.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm writing, yes. Yes.
So that's because we're behind in
Right.
reviewing the applications, and I did not, I thought I was gonna be able to get out and do the March ones. I did look at, or I do know about two of them, and I think I left it upstairs, I apologize, but in the March 2022 resolutions, there was, if you recall, the the redevelopment authority of Berks County did 614 and 616 Spruce Street. And 616 was on that agenda, and I need to look at them because we've had some still issues with 612, which is on the corner. I'm still dealing with her, which that was another month, but in looking at 612, I think there's some things that they did not complete correctly on 616, but I have to review everything to be sure. So that was one, and then another one was 832 North Fifth Street, where I think Rick, you asked about it a while ago, the porch, yeah. And I don't know why that's at a standstill.
It
but
has been.
they haven't done anything on there, right?
No.
But they did get approval to replace everything in kind.
Yep.
So I want to call them and see why there has been no movement. And the person that was working on that is a roofer. He actually did work on my own house, so I don't know what the issue is and why it's still like that. So that was two of them, but the rest of them I have to look in, and I can't recall what they are at the moment.
All right, anything from education and outreach? That is what
Yeah.
No. Anything from policy committee reports?
Nothing to report.
Okay, preservation accommodations. Now, I've never done this before. So basically the board picks from one of those properties or any of
No,
those properties.
it can be all of them. It can be, this is what was given over the past couple of years by the board members. So then whatever's given to me, then I go out and photograph and I put in this document that I sent you all. Yeah, or no, I didn't make a copy,
Okay.
but you can look at this.
No, that's all right. I'll just go to my email.
That's okay, I can look through or flip through them. I should have made, I'm sorry, I should have made a copy, printed out copy. But, and then the board usually reviews what has been done and decides on whether they're worthy or not for accommodation.
Are we gonna do that tonight?
Yes, that's what
The
the
board's
yes,
prepared, okay.
yes. And then May is National Preservation Month, and typically we would present them at a city council meeting, but I didn't get everything done in time, so it's okay, we're gonna review them this month, and then I can coordinate with the city clerk's office to, and you usually the chairperson of the board does the little speech before council, and we present the awards, and at a time that they can accommodate us and that you can attend.
Okay.
And of course, all board members are welcome to attend as well. But yeah, we haven't done it since, oh gosh, 2018.
I've never done it, so I've been on it since 2020.
Yeah. I know we didn't do it when COVID started in 2020. I don't think we did them in 2019 either, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, because Corbett was already done, and that's on this list too, so.
But
Yeah, these are not just over the last year, and it doesn't necessarily have to be over the last year, but these are ones that have been given over the past 3 years.
is it just a printed certificate?
Yeah,
You send
yeah.
that?
I get what council usually gives us blue folders, and then we have a picture, I have a picture of like the pagoda that goes in one half, and then I have like a parchment paper thing that I do up, and I get the city clerk's office to stamp a seal, and the mayor signs them. So it's really coming from the mayor, but they're all selected and nominated, selected by the board.
So more than one can get,
Mhm.
okay, that's good.
Yeah, we've had 10 before.
Cause I think it would be important to make sure that, like, say, like the South 9th Street one, for sure. You know, something that's not in the district gets something
Right.
like that, because that would encourage,
Right,
hey, we do keep an eye on that. And it's important just because you're not in the district, is it?
right,
Particularly like, Mike said before. City of Reading basically is a historic district.
Yeah.
The era that buildings were built was between 1860 and 1930, you know, so. 1930 makes it within 100 years almost, you know,
Yeah.
so. We get right down to it.
and we've always done that, or the board has always done that, it's selected any throughout the city.
Yeah,
My recommendations were 138 South Fifth Street, 619 Church, and 413 Douglas. I did go over to 619 Church. We did do a tour of that. Oh my gosh, was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
What they did to that building is absolutely amazing. We had to fight them a little bit on it.
They really
But
roasted
they
these
did
people.
a heck of a job. They really did. I was nervous about that. I really didn't think that all of that was gonna happen, but they pulled it off and it looks great. I love the steps at 138 South Fifth Street. I think that looks sharp. I think it's great what they did there.
Mhm.
I think it looks fabulous. And then 413 Douglas. Is that Taz?
Yes,
Yeah. I think the paint on that's great.
yeah, it's beautiful.
I would be in favor of all of those.
Okay.
The only ones I'm not in favor of. The last one. 101. What is that?
Holy.
101 Holy Street. And I would have to abstain from the Corbett building. But I would heavily promote Christ Church, knowing what they went through on that
Mhm.
project. I think that's worthy of a commendation.
What is, if someone knows about this property at 903 Buttonwood Street, what is that? Is that a residence?
I didn't look to see what.
I'm not sure of that
was.
part, all I know is
Well,
like. You know. What he highlighted is that. In his detail on that, on the stone
Yeah.
where they painted it. I mean, typically that's everywhere in the city and. No one really has done that at all.
No.
And to see that is like this, oh my god. You know,
I know. Yeah, it's not a intact or
What is
historically
that?
correct.
What's that?
I would say, well, this looks like it's metal, like I think that porch was originally there. It was probably a door, not a window,
yeah,
and
I
there
agree with that.
probably would be
It was one window on the first floor.
wood shake shingles maybe on that lower part where there's asphalt shingles.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I would say so.
Or metal.
Or metal, yeah, that's true.
And that could have simply been on the upper floor there, you know, like you said, a door that would be, you know,
Yeah.
to a little balcony.
Yeah.
You know, of the bedroom.
The lower, the 3 window wouldn't have been there, of course, and there is a stained glass transom above that, it's just hard to get with the lighting.
They didn't do that door installation, did they?
No, that, I looked back as far as I could on Google Maps and it's been there for a while.
And the blocking up of the other door.
Yeah.
But even
been
at the
like that for a
top,
long, long
I
time.
mean, with the lintels and in the 1891,
Yeah.
that, oh my god. it's
Yeah.
like, You know,
Back a few years ago, again on Google Maps, I forget, there was. Maybe one of these flowers was painted, but I think the 1891 was all brown, like it's
Mhm.
been recently that they did all of this.
yes,
So we have 138 South Fifth, 619 Church, 413 Douglas, Christ Episcopal. Does anybody else want to add anything else to the list?
As I stated
Which one did
the
you?
last meeting or two ago, that I feel that anybody that's taken the time and made the financial effort should be recognized.
The only one that I don't agree with as staff is the 101 Olive Street.
So do we have to make a motion?
Mhm.
Okay. Does someone?
If the motion is for all of them except the last one, my only request would be to break out the Corbett building, 'cause I can't vote on
So that you like vote on it separately, so, okay.
All right,
Cause they did a beautiful job on painting the windows were in really rough shape and restoring the terracotta on the front of that building,
okay,
but yeah, you can do that.
did you do that?
What's that?
Did you make the motion except for the Corbett
Mhm.
building? You can do that in a separate,
I
except for 101 Oldie Street and the Corbett building, and then we'll go back and do another.
Yes, yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay. Does someone want to
I'll
second
second
it?
it.
Um.
So let me get this straight, the only one that we're not going to include is the 101 Oley Street.
And Corbett building right at
And
the
it's
side,
on the building
and
right
then
now.
somebody else will make a motion
Gotcha,
if they want the Corbett.
just
building.
wanted to get it straight.
Okay. Mr. McDevitt,
Yes,
Mr. Politica,
Yes,
Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Now, if someone wants to make a second motion.
I'll make a motion that we have also include in the awards, the Corbett building at, what's the address?
147 North Fifth Street.
147 North Fifth Street.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes,
Mr. Politica.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else for tonight?
No. It's all right.
All right. Someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion. No one wants to second. Please, Aaron, you want to stick around? God.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we're 5 minutes ahead of schedule.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, I had it going to 8:30.
You did.
Wow.
That was a good meeting.
We got 2 bookends that went like 3 minutes each, you know, so.
Well, oh yeah, sorry, let's get going. Everybody talk. Thank you. Good night.
Sure, there's a picture of that Buttonwood Street property in one of the passing scenes, but